Chosen one, you still haven't fully realized the depth of who you are. There is a strength inside your spirit that is far greater than anything you've recognized so far. Don't scroll past this moment, because what you're about to hear carries a truth that can shift your life in unexpected ways. Ignoring it might mean missing the breakthrough you've been silently waiting for. You've been living far beneath your real potential. And I'm telling you clearly now, your spirit is not weak, not fragile, and definitely not ordinary. It has already endured more than you can fully understand. It has carried you through storms that were meant to break you, yet here you are. That's exactly why you've always felt different. Why something inside you feels deeper than words can explain. There is a force within you that simply refuses to give up. You've spent so much time questioning yourself, doubting your worth, and wondering why life has felt so heavy for you. But every single one of those moments has been seen. The silent struggles, the nights you felt alone, the times you thought you wouldn't make it through. None of it was ignored. Now it's time to understand something important. You are not here by accident, and nothing about your existence is random. You are still standing because your spirit carries a strength that was placed within you for a reason. If you truly feel that you are different, then understand this. Your path was never meant to feel easy. The intensity, the pressure, the challenges you've faced, all of it has been shaping you, not breaking you. You were never designed to live in fear or confusion. You were formed with a spirit that keeps standing, even when everything around it collapses. There is something within you that has not fully awakened yet, but it is beginning to rise. What you once saw as weakness is actually one of your greatest strengths. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It means your spirit is alive, aware, and deeply connected. You notice what others miss. You feel what others ignore. You carry emotional depth that most people don't understand. Every tear you've cried has played a role in your growth. Nothing you've been through has been wasted. Even the moments that felt like you were losing yourself were actually moments of release, letting go of what no longer belonged to you. You weren't being erased. You were being refined. You cannot step into your true self while holding on to an old version of who you used to be. That's why certain things had to fall away. Even when it hurt, it was part of your transformation. Look at how far you've come. You've survived things you once believed would destroy you. And yet, you're still here, still moving, still becoming. That is not weakness. That is evidence of inner strength. Even in your emptiest moments, something inside you kept pushing forward. That force didn't come from outside. It came from within you. You've been searching for validation, waiting for someone to define your identity. But the truth is, everything you are looking for already exists inside you. The strength you want is already part of who you are. You've just been viewing yourself through emotions instead of truth. And emotions can distort what is real. Right now, something is shifting within you. Something is waking up. Something is becoming clearer. You are starting to realize that you are not as limited as you once believed. The mental barriers that once held you back are beginning to break. Your spirit is finally starting to breathe again. You were never meant to shrink yourself just to fit into spaces that were never built for your energy. That's why you often felt misunderstood or out of place. It was never because something was wrong with you. It was because you carry something rare. Even the things you thought were losses were actually guidance. Doors that closed, people who walked away, opportunities that disappeared. None of it was random. It was alignment. You were being protected in ways you didn't even realize. And you are still being guided towards something greater than what you've left behind. Everything you've gone through has been preparing you, even when you didn't understand it. The delays, the struggles, the silence. None of it was a mistake. You are being shaped into something stronger, clearer, and more aligned than ever before. Everything you've gone through had meaning, even when it didn't make sense at the time. The confusion was never permanent. It was part of a process that has been shaping you into someone strong enough to handle what comes next. Bigger opportunities require a stronger foundation within you, and that strength has been built slowly through everything you've endured. You are now stepping into a new stage of life where your perception of yourself begins to change. Self-doubt will start losing its grip. Mental fog will begin to lift. And slowly, you'll notice a quiet but steady confidence rising inside you. Not something loud or showy, but calm, stable, and unshakable. This is the early sign of you becoming who you truly are. Deep down, your spirit has always known the way. Even when your thoughts were unclear, it continued guiding you, protecting you, and holding you together in moments when you felt like giving up. There has always been something within you that refused to let you fully break. That kind of inner resilience is rare. Type 99. If you believe in Jesus, understand that everything you've been through has been part of a refining process. Even when life felt like survival mode, you were being strengthened. Every struggle built endurance. Every disappointment shaped patience. Every setback developed resilience. It may have felt like life was pushing you down, but in reality, you were being built from within. True strength doesn't always feel powerful while it's forming. Sometimes it feels like pressure, heaviness, and struggle before it becomes something solid. There were moments when you felt unseen or misunderstood, like no one could truly recognize who you are. That sense of distance made you question yourself. But not everyone is meant to understand your journey at every stage. You've also carried emotions you never fully expressed. Things you kept inside because you didn't know how to release them. But that pain didn't destroy you. It shaped you. It gave you depth, awareness, and emotional understanding. It made you someone who can sense what others don't say, someone who reads beyond words. Type 99 to receive blessings. This is exactly why your spirit is stronger than you realize. Everything you've been through has refined you, not broken you. You've faced situations that could have made you cold, but instead, you still care. You still hope. You still stay open. And that is real strength. Something within you is continuing to change. You're starting to see your life with more clarity now. The confusion is fading, and in its place, understanding is growing. Doubt is slowly being replaced with quiet inner certainty. You are realizing you were never meant to shrink yourself or live in limitation. For too long, you held back your light just to fit into expectations that were never meant for you. You stayed quiet to avoid judgment, dimmed yourself to avoid attention, and questioned yourself to avoid mistakes. But that is not your true path. You are being called to step out of those limitations and recognize what has always been inside you. You don't need to become someone else to be strong. You already are strong. You don't need permission to become who you are, because that identity was already placed in you from the beginning. What you're experiencing now is awareness finally catching up with truth. And yes, that awareness can feel intense, because it makes you see how much potential you've been holding back without realizing it. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is part of growth. As you continue forward, you may also notice changes around you. Some relationships will shift, some environments will no longer feel familiar, some directions will naturally change. Don't fear that. It's alignment happening in real time. When you grow into your real self, not everything can stay the same. But you are not losing what belongs to you. You are simply making space for what actually fits your future. What is meant for you will stay. What is not aligned will naturally fall away. Trust this process, even when it feels uncertain, because it is guiding you somewhere better than where you've been. This phase is not a setback. It is not regression. It is development. And every time you choose to stand firm instead of falling back into old patterns, you strengthen something deeper inside yourself. You are building trust in your own inner foundation, And that is one of the most important parts of your journey. There was a time when you questioned your own instincts, unsure if you could trust your decisions. But now, something is changing. You are beginning to realize that quiet inner voice has never been misleading you. It has always been guiding you with purpose, even when you couldn't fully understand it. As you continue moving forward, you will not only see change within yourself, but also in how your presence affects everything around you. Around you, something is beginning to shift. The energy you carry is becoming more balanced, calm, and grounded. Situations that once felt overwhelming will slowly start to feel easier to handle just by your presence. Without even speaking, you will bring a sense of clarity and stability into places that once felt chaotic. People may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. There will be something about you that feels steady, real, and emotionally strong. This is happening because your true nature is no longer being buried under fear or confusion. It is naturally starting to show itself in how you carry yourself. You don't need to force this change or try to prove anything. It will reflect in your voice, your actions, your body language, and the way you respond to life. Strength is starting to show without effort. You are not becoming someone new. You are simply uncovering who you've always been, underneath everything that once covered your real self. Layers that were once hidden are now coming off, and your authentic identity is stepping forward. This is what real self-awareness looks like, and with it comes a deep sense of freedom. The fears that once controlled you, the doubts that once shaped your thinking, and the limitations you once believed in are starting to lose their grip. You're beginning to understand that your life is not just something that happens to you. You have a role in it through your awareness, your choices, and your mindset. That doesn't mean everything will always go exactly as planned, but it does mean you'll stop feeling lost in the process. Instead, you'll start moving with direction and purpose, even in uncertainty. You'll see that every experience has been contributing to your growth, even the ones that didn't make sense at the time. And even when things don't go the way you expect, you won't fall apart the way you used to. There will be a quiet understanding within you that everything is still guiding you toward where you need to be. You've already come much further than you give yourself credit for. The strength you carry now is not the same as before. If you looked back, the old version of you wouldn't even fully recognize who you've become. Even if doubt still shows up sometimes, it no longer defines you. Something within you has changed. Your awareness is deeper, your inner foundation is stronger, and your sense of direction is clearer than it used to be. Don't overlook your progress. Don't downplay how much you've grown. Every small step, even the ones that felt meaningless at the time, has brought you to this point. You are no longer at the beginning, and you are no longer who you used to be. Change is actively happening within you, and with it, your real strength is becoming more visible each day. As you continue forward, understand that what you're experiencing is only the start of a much deeper transformation. There are still parts of you that haven't fully unfolded yet, strengths you haven't fully accessed, and a purpose that is still revealing itself slowly over time. You don't need all the answers right now. What matters most is that you keep moving forward with trust. You are learning how to rely on yourself without constantly needing reassurance from others. That alone is a major shift. There was a time when you looked outside yourself for validation, waiting for someone else to confirm your direction. But that is changing. Now a quiet certainty is forming inside you. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't need to be loud. It is steady, calm, and deeply grounded. Type 1212 to claim miracles. A deeper confidence is growing within you, one that no longer depends on outside circumstances. Even when life feels uncertain, a part of you remains calm. That calm is not weakness, it is strength rooted in trust. You are starting to believe that you will be guided, that what you need will come at the right time, and that you will always find your way, no matter what happens. At the same time, your understanding of what actually matters in life is becoming much clearer. Things that once felt important to you are slowly losing their control over your mind. Opinions from others, unnecessary noise, and external pressure are not affecting you the way they used to. This is not because you've stopped caring, but because you're learning how to protect your energy and stay focused on what truly aligns with your path. There were moments when you felt pulled in too many directions, trying to satisfy expectations and carry burdens that were never meant to rest on your shoulders alone. That kind of weight left you exhausted. But now you're beginning to realize something important. You don't have to carry everything. You have the right to choose where your energy goes. You have the right to step away from anything that drains you or doesn't support your growth. Type 33 if you are ready. You are also noticing a shift in your thinking. Where doubt once took over, belief is slowly taking its place. Where fear once controlled your actions, now there is at least a willingness to keep going, even with fear present. Fear hasn't completely vanished, but it no longer controls you the way it used to. Instead of stopping you, it has become something you move through. This is what real growth looks like. It's not about becoming perfect or never feeling unsure again. It's about continuing forward even when those feelings exist. Your strength is not defined by always feeling strong. It is defined by your ability to keep standing even when you don't feel ready. At the same time, a sense of direction is starting to form inside you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel that you are heading somewhere meaningful. Deep down, there is a knowing that your life is not just about existing without purpose. Everything you've been through, every challenge, every setback, every lesson, has been connected to shaping you for something greater. Nothing you experienced was wasted. Every moment added something to your growth, even when you didn't realize it at the time. You already carry within you what you need for what comes next, even if you are still discovering it. As you continue moving forward, your awareness will become sharper. You will naturally begin to sense what feels right for you and what doesn't. That inner awareness will quietly guide your decisions, your relationships, and the direction of your life. Trust that inner feeling. It is part of your built-in guidance. There may be moments where you feel pulled back toward what is familiar, even if it no longer fits who you are becoming. Familiarity can feel comfortable, even when it no longer serves you. But you are not meant to go backward. Your path is forward. You are also learning something powerful. You don't need to explain your journey to everyone. Not everyone will understand you, and not everyone will see life the way you do. But that doesn't make your path any less real. You don't need permission to be yourself. There is a quiet strength in simply being who you are, without trying to prove it. That strength comes from self-awareness, inner trust, and alignment with your direction. And slowly, you are beginning to live from that place more naturally. Type 888. And if you are truly receiving this, there is also a deeper realization forming within you. That your life carries meaning far beyond what you once believed. Everything you've been through, every hardship you survived, every painful moment you carried, has been building something inside you that cannot easily be broken. You are being strengthened, not just for yourself, but also for something greater. You are being shaped in a way that one day may allow you to guide, support, or inspire others through what you've learned. Type 666 to release fear. Your journey is still unfolding. There is still more within you that has not yet been revealed. With each passing day, your understanding deepens, and with each step, you move closer to realizing your true strength. You are not fragile. You are resilient. You are capable. And you are far stronger than you currently realize. What you're really circling around here is a shift in identity, not just mood or motivation. It's the moment where a person stops being defined mainly by outside pressure and starts being guided more by inner clarity. That change usually doesn't feel dramatic at first. It shows up quietly in how you react, what you tolerate, and what you no longer feel drawn to. When someone begins to protect their energy, it often looks like distance from things that used to feel normal. not because they've become cold, but because their attention is becoming more selective. The mind stops giving equal importance to everything. Some opinions start to feel unnecessary. Some environments start to feel heavy. Some conversations stop feeling meaningful. This is the beginning of mental refinement, where awareness starts filtering what deserves space in your life. Alongside that, fear doesn't fully disappear, but it changes position. Earlier, it might have been in control, deciding your choices or delaying your actions. Now, it becomes something you notice, but don't obey in the same way. That's a major internal shift. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to keep moving while it's still there. Over time, that repeated decision builds a quiet form of confidence that doesn't depend on emotion. Another important part of this process is the loss of unnecessary attachment to approval. When you stop needing constant validation, your decisions become cleaner. You begin to act based on what feels aligned rather than what will be accepted. That doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It just means you stop abandoning yourself to maintain connection. As this develops, clarity doesn't usually arrive as a sudden answer. It builds through experience. You start noticing patterns, what drains you, what strengthens you, what repeatedly brings confusion, and what brings peace, even if it's simple. That awareness becomes a compass. It doesn't shout, it signals. And the more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. There's also a deeper psychological shift happening at the same time. You begin to separate who you are from what you've been through. Pain no longer defines identity. It becomes part of your story, not your label. Instead of saying, "This is who I am because of what happened," you start realizing, "This is what I survived, and now I'm deciding who I become next." That is where real inner freedom begins. The feeling of being different that many people experience during this stage is often just increased self-awareness. You notice more, feel more, and interpret things on a deeper level. That can feel isolating at times because not everyone operates with the same level of reflection. But it also gives you insight that wasn't accessible before. Over time, life starts to reorganize itself around your choices. When you stop tolerating what drains you, certain relationships fade. When you stop forcing paths that don't fit, directions naturally change. This can feel like loss at first, but it's actually realignment. Life removes friction when you stop insisting on holding everything in place. What's important to understand is that this stage is not about becoming perfect or emotionally unaffected. It's about becoming more honest with yourself. You still have doubts, you still have uncertainty, but you no longer let those things fully decide your direction. That's the difference. And slowly, something stabilizes inside you. Not because everything outside is fixed, but because your response to life becomes steadier. You stop needing everything to be certain before you move. You stop waiting for complete clarity before taking steps. You begin to trust movement itself. That's where real strength starts to form, not in loud confidence, but in quiet consistency. This entire journey is about a deep internal awakening, where you slowly begin to realize that nothing you went through was random or wasted, but instead a process that has been shaping you into someone stronger, clearer, and more self-aware than before. What once felt like confusion, pressure, and emotional weight was actually building your endurance, refining your mindset, and teaching you how to stand firm even when life felt uncertain. You are entering a phase where external opinions, distractions, and fears no longer hold the same control over you. Not because they have disappeared, but because your awareness has grown beyond them. You are learning to protect your energy, choose your direction more consciously, and stop abandoning yourself just to fit into situations that were never aligned with your true path. Slowly, fear is losing its authority, doubt is being replaced with quiet belief, and hesitation is turning into steady movement forward, even when clarity is not fully complete. This transformation is not about becoming perfect or invincible, but about becoming grounded in who you truly are, beneath everything you were taught to doubt. Your past experiences, including the painful and silent ones, have all contributed to building a depth within you that cannot be easily broken or replaced. And now, instead of being controlled by uncertainty, you are beginning to move with inner trust, recognizing that your life has direction even when you cannot see the full picture yet. Relationships, environments, and old patterns may shift as you grow, but this is not loss, it is alignment, making space for what actually belongs to your next chapter. Most importantly, you are starting to understand that your strength was never something you had to create, but something you had to uncover. And as that truth becomes clearer, you naturally begin to carry yourself with more stability, awareness, and quiet confidence. This is not the end of a struggle, but the beginning of a more conscious way of living, where you are no longer led by confusion, but by a deeper sense of purpose, inner knowing, and self-trust that continues to grow with every step you take forward.